Hey friends, welcome back to A Homesteading Hustle. Today I'm going to share with you a little bit of a seed haul. So we order our seeds from Annie's Heirloom in Michigan, and we have ordered from them since 2015. So this will be our 8th year ordering from them. We've always had great germination and just really great results with their seeds. I have also ordered some seeds this year from Baker Creek. And those are actually going to be more of the cut flowers. So this year, I'm going to be growing some cut flowers, and I'll share those in a totally different video for you. But this video is just going to be some of our vegetables that we are replenishing. And it's not everything we're going to be growing in our garden, but it's just some of the staples that we readily use all the time, as well as a few new things that we wanted to try. So let's dive right in and see what's in this package right over here. We're going to start out, I'm just going to pull them out of this package. I have not fully gone through all of them to make sure that they're all here. We're just going to kind of go through and we'll see. Now the nice thing about Annie's Heirloom seeds is they recently changed their packaging in the last couple years, and they're just so beautiful. They're just really gorgeous little packets. Start off with this year, we are replenishing our sugar snap peas. Yes, the peas right here. So these are just a basic sugar snap pea. They do climb, which are really great for trellising. So I do like to have these climb over an archway. Usually I put them at the entrance to our garden, but who knows what the configuration will be this year. Trellising peas are super fun. Their flowers are always so delicate and really beautiful. I also got some tall trailing nasturtiums. So these are a flower, are an edible flower, and I've never grown them. I've heard they're fairly easy to grow, and they taste... She's so cute, I can't handle it. So nasturtiums, they taste a spicy green, I've heard. I have never actually tasted one or grown one. My friend Lady and I do discuss it in a conversation we had last year about our Greenstalks. So if you're interested in listening to that conversation, definitely I can link that below for you. But she tastes hers that she grew in that video, and it was kind of a fun experience because it was her first time doing it. So I'm going to grow those this year. Next up, we have some arugula. So this is an organic rocket salad. Arugula. Arugula is a spicy green. I have grown it before and I really do enjoy it. Next up we have organic San Marzano tomatoes. Now I have grown these also. Last year was my first time growing San Marzanos. I grew a ton of them and they were amazing for canned goods. So I canned a ton of salsa and marinara and just kind of a basic like chopped tomato with some onion and garlic, which has lasted all winter. It is a great tomato for canning. So I have 2 of those. I got organic stevia. So I've never grown stevia. I've always wanted to. I know that it's obviously a great sweetener. We've all heard of stevia. This is really interesting that I just learned recently. But stevia that you buy in the store, most of the time it is white because it is actually bleached. Hard to find actually green stevia, and I just would love to create my own stevia powder, and so I'm going to try to grow my own and see if I can dehydrate it and ground it into my own stevia powder sweetener. So she is so making a mess right here, but we're just going to let her roll with it. She's happy. I got some parsley. This is an Annie. It's called Annie's Parsley Mix. So this is going to have a few different varieties of parsley in it. It's going to have flat leaf, moss curled, forest green, and Italian. Parsley is a great herb to add to any kind of Italian food, or and it also, I read, is a companion plant to asparagus, and I am going to grow asparagus for the first time this year. Okay, so there's a cut flower, there's a cut flower. We'll save those for another video. Here I have borage. So borage is a flower, but it is a it's kind of a small blue flower, and I guess it has like a fuzzy leaf. I've never actually grown borage, but it's edible and it tastes, I've heard, like cucumber. So if you don't mind the texture, you can eat it. I don't know if you add it to salads or whatnot, but we're gonna try it. It looks really beautiful. We have Boston pickling cucumbers. So my husband makes pickles every year. This past winter, we have sold a bunch of his pickles that he made, and he likes to use the Boston pickling cucumber. They stay nice and crisp and crunchy, and they're just a great choice for pickling. Next up, we have bouquet dill. So obviously dill, you can add it into pickles, you do lots of different things with it. I am growing it for my cut flowers, so there's a little sneak peek as far as what I might be growing for the cut flower bouquets as a filler. But yeah, dill is always a great one to have in the garden. And it just smells so fresh and so good. All right, next up we have muncher cucumbers. So we bought 2 packages of munchers. Now some of these seeds we do save from our own harvest, but it's always so great to have backup on hand. You just never know when you want to just grab for a seed packet that you're pretty sure is going to germinate and just go for it. So we got the muncher cucumbers again. These are an excellent slicing cucumber to eat fresh. You can pickle these, and they don't stay as crisp as a cucumber specifically for pickling, but they still produce a great product. Next up we have, let's see, these. I'll save those to share another time. I got some rosemary seeds. Now, I have tried to grow rosemary from seed before. It has not necessarily gone super well. I usually end up buying a start at a store, but we're going to try it again. I know there's some tips to doing rosemary. It can be kind of tricky. I'm not sure if I'll actually start it this year or not, but I wanted to have some on hand just in case. So next up we have the scarlet runner bean. I've never grown this bean, but every time I see it in photos, it just is so striking. It has these beautiful small red flowers on it. It is a trailing bean, so this will go up a trellis really well. And I don't know anything about the bean itself, just that I love the flowers. So I'm going to grow those this year, and hopefully the pollinators will like it. We do get a lot of hummingbirds on this property, and so I'm kind of hoping that they might be attracted to it since it's red as well. So we'll see. I don't know much about that, but it's going to be a beautiful option in the garden. As well as some more of those sugar snap peas. Looks like, and peas are a really easy one to save and harvest. I do get really great germination with the peas that we have kept for seed. Again, it's great to just have some backups. So, all right, so here is a couple more for our cut flower garden. I'm going to grow some brown mustard. That is one that I heard the pollinators really like, and it does look kind of cool too. So we're going to try that this year, which is a new one for me. I've never done brown mustard. Campbell 33 tomato. Now, I don't know much about this tomato, but it does say that it's a pretty versatile tomato, and it's Campbell's 33. I mean, when we think of Campbell's, we think of soup, sauces, so I do think it is going to be a great one for canning, which is majority of what I will use the tomatoes for. I personally like fresh tomatoes. Family is not a huge tomato family, but I add tomatoes to everything. So, we also have caraway, which is another great herb to have on hand, and it says it's a biennial. And anything that you can plant that is going to either be a perennial or biennial, so they come back every year, every other year, is going to just bring a longevity to your property and create some things that will be harvestable later on, and you don't have to necessarily worry about it too much the first year. So I'm going to plant some of these perennials and biennials just to kind of get them in the ground, and we'll see whether we use them or not this year or just have them in the ground for another time. All right, next up we have Catskill Brussels sprouts. I have never grown Brussels sprouts, and I'm the only one in the family that actually really likes them. So it'll be kind of interesting. They do grow in a really unique manner. They grow on I don't know if they're a vine or just a tall stalk, but there's just the little Brussels sprout balls on the side of it, and it just looks so neat. So we're gonna try that this year. I also got some cilantro. Now cilantro is really tricky because it bolts really easy in the heat of the summer. So if I want to keep it as cilantro rather than coriander seed, I will need to be on top of it. But I love cilantro. I could put it in everything. So I am going to try to grow that again. And then we have one more variety of nasturtium. This is going to be a little more of a mounding variety, and I just thought it would be really fun to try. So, I think we have one more little bundle in here. Okay, so the last little bundle here is a lot of my flowers that I'll share in another one. I am going to grow some basil. Basil is an excellent one in the garden to deter pests. It's a great companion plant for things like tomatoes. And so I'm going to grow a bunch of basil this year. Just some basic, it's called Genovese basil. We also have a Roma tomato. Now, Roma tomatoes, if you're not familiar with them, which they're a pretty common one to grow, but they are also excellent for canning. I don't want that in my mouth, thank you so much. We have grown the Martino's Roma tomato, and we've always had great success with these tomatoes. Now, they are a determinate plant, so Romas are determinate, so they're not going to be a vining plant. Thank you. Hi. They're going to be they're going to grow a certain height, and then they're going to produce all their fruit, and all that fruit should be fairly ripe at about the same time. Okay, now I said earlier that I'm going to be growing asparagus, and I did get asparagus seeds. So these are the Mary Washington asparagus. They are supposedly fairly easy to grow from seed. I don't know much about it. I'm going to do some research. I know that you cannot harvest asparagus for the first couple years. So it's one of those that we're just going to get it in the ground, and we're just going to maintain it and check on it each year. I'm just hoping that I'll be able to get it to germinate and establish some roots this year. So being in Minnesota, we do have short growing seasons, and so we have a very limited window in which we can get these things to become established. So those are the seeds that I ordered from Annie's Heirloom Seeds. Now I'll share with you just a few more things, and this is kind of a little bonus haul for you. So these have come from my friend Cady out at Mayfield Ranch in California. She sent me some really great seeds, and I'll just share the varieties. And I'm going to plant almost all of these in our garden this year just to see how they do. And there's a few that I'm really excited about on here. So we have Buena Mulata. I'm actually not 100% sure what those are, but I'm going to look it up. We have the ají lemon drop pepper. We have a poblano pepper. We have red bell peppers, sugar rush peach pepper. That one sounds really cool. I think it's a spicy pepper, so we're going to have to do some digging on some of these. Lemon cucumber, Armenian cucumber, basil, Aunt Molly's ground cherry. Now, ground cherries, I've never grown them. I've never even eaten one. They grow inside like a husk, and I think you have to like pull the husk off, and then you use the berry inside or the cherry inside. Ground cherries, I've heard that they're sweet, and you can use them in jams and jellies and such. Or you can dress them up and make them into a savory dish. So I'm excited to try them out. I don't know much about them, so this will be a fun experiment. So thank you, Cady, so much for sending these out here. These green noodle long beans, these I'm also super pumped about. I love beans, and I just think they grow so cool, and the long beans just look so neat. They're really long. Just if you have them on a trellis or whatnot, it just looks really cool. So we're going to try all those. All right, so there's our little seed haul today from Annie's Heirloom in Michigan, as well as my friend Cady out at Mayfield Ranch. I'll link her channel down below as well. And there's my son this summer with lots of beautiful things growing in the garden. Have a blessed day. This is the aftermath of trying to create a video for YouTube.
And look at, here's the monster.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, but she's bloopers. What bloopers?